I'm going to do a quick little video on how I put my auxiliary fuse box on my 2016 Versys, however you want to pronounce it, 1000. Kind of give you an overview of what I did here. I tried to keep it simple. What I wanted was a place to put my heated grips. I don't like the way that Kawasaki used small wiring to go up to the heated grips. And I've also got gerbing heated jackets and stuff on this bike. And I wanted a place to put an auxiliary fuse box. And I wanted the fuse box to only be live when the key's on. So what I did is I added this relay over here. Covered everything in dielectric grease, is why it looks the way it does. What I'm doing is I have an inline fuse right here, and I used a 30 amp inline fuse here, so I have a 30 amp fuse box. I'm picking up power off the battery, so the only connection I have that I added to the bike really is on the batteries. I'm picking up power here and running it into terminal 30 down here on the relay. And that power is coming out over here on terminal 87. And that's what's powering up the fuse box main lug right there. Key's off right now, so none of that's hot. It would only be hot from here to from here to there with the fuse in. I'm grounding the control circuit of the relay, which I believe I used 85. I don't think on this relay it's not going to matter unless you have a diode in relay. But I'm running that, and I just ran it around behind the battery, and I came up here and picked up a ground right here. I'm grounding the rest of my stuff here, and I'm also, you could use this for a ground right here, kind of hard to film and point. And you could use that for a ground over there, which I've done. I just solder my connectors in there if it'll focus on that, and put dielectric grease on it. Back to where we were. So the relay comes over here and powers up the auxiliary fuse box, which there wasn't. You can see it's got a tab right there to mount it. There you can put a screw in it, and there's another one kind of hidden back over in here that you could have put a screw in, but I didn't like the screws going through the plastic. So what I did is I just put a big gob, and that would be the official term, of clear silicone on the back of it, and pushed it down and let it sit overnight. And you're going to have to cut it to get it out of there. I mean, it's not going to vibrate loose. And then I did the same thing over here on the relay. I was able to put a nut and a bolt through the backside where the tool tube goes in, and hold that in a little bit with that. But I also put some silicone on the backside of that relay and clamped it to this part right here overnight, so that relay couldn't turn. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an old piece of an inner tube, and I'm going to make a flap that just completely comes and just covers over top of that, and it'll just lay right over top of here. But the 30 amp main fuse is protecting the whole circuit, so if anything went bad all the way over to the fuse box, relay shorted out internally to a ground, or something got in there and grounded that, it's going to pop this 30 amp, and I'm going to lose that whole fuse box, but we're not going to burn anything up. I'm energizing the control circuit of the relay with that smaller red wire that you see running along the fuse box. It's coming over through here, and it goes up in here. There's another one there that looks a little confusing. But what I did is, and this is an extra that we won't even discuss, but the main wiring harness from Kawasaki that runs to the taillights and everything is right here alongside the battery. And there's two nylon ties on either side of it. You can just cut the nylon ties and pull that up out of there, and take a razor blade to the outer sleeve and real gently cut through it. There's like 3 brown wires that I found in there, and I just probed them to see what was what. And I found that one of them had power with the key on, and that's what runs the tail lights. I believe it was brown with a yellow stripe on it. So I just soldered into that wire and put heat shrink tubing on it and dielectric grease, and then sealed it all back up with electrical tape and put 2 nylon ties on it right there too. And then that way, that's what's powering this relay, which is in turn switching power to that fuse box. The fuse box came from West Marine. I couldn't tell you the number. It holds 4 fuses. It comes with a little clear plastic cover that I have sitting on the table over there to keep rain and stuff out of it, that I'll put on there that'll cover these electrical terminals with plastic and actually help to where this wouldn't slide over into it. But you can see that's not going to be a problem there anyway. Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty simple design, and it tucks everything nice and neat down in there. I did have to move my diagnostic connector up here. It was where this fuse box is, but it's just in a foam little sleeve here that if you're real kind of gentle with it, it'll come out in one piece, and you can just move that diagnostic connector up there out of the way. It's got a cover on it. It plugs into a little plastic, so it's sealed and it's not going to short out or anything. So anyway, and then once I was done with all the wiring and got all my connectors on and stuff, I just went ahead and got some Q-tips and some dielectric grease and covered everything with dielectric grease. Apologize for the sore throat, guys. It got the flu, and this has been a little bit of a project. That's how I've done it. It's just a regular 40 amp automotive relay that you can get at about any parts store you walked into. And the fuse box came, like I said, from West Marine. Covered everything in grease so we won't have any corrosion problems. That's what you got. Good luck with it.